Oi, pessoal do ECOE. Meu nome é Luana, eu sou uma das organizadoras do evento e hoje eu estou aqui para entrevistar o Jhonathan Carthon. O Jhonathan tem uma longa história no mercado de marketing. Ele trabalhou muitos anos para a L'Oréal na área de inovação. Criatividade e inovação está no sangue dele e há algum tempo ele decidiu se tornar professor. E eu o conheci, porque o Jhonathan foi meu professor na escola de marketing aqui de Chicago, e foi um excelente professor. Foi uma experiência incrível ter alguém no mercado de trabalho nos ensinando, né, as estratégias de marketing e etc. E eu acho que ele tem tudo a ver com o ECOE. Ele utiliza a criatividade e a inovação que ele aprendeu ao longo da carreira para ensinar os alunos, né? Não só os alunos da escola de marketing, mas ele também tem alguns projetos voluntários onde ele ensina empreendedorismo para jovens aqui nos Estados Unidos, e ele tem muita história para contar, muita coisa boa para compartilhar. Espero que vocês gostem. Eu vou começar a entrevista com ele agora. Hi, Jhonathan. Welcome to ECOE. First of all, I would like to say thank you for accepting our invitation. It's a great pleasure to have you here, and I am sure you have a lot to share with us. I am so excited about this interview.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to meet the world. Being here in Chicago, it's really great. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of different students from all over the world, such as yourself, but to really be able to engage with the Brazilian academic world and students, this is really exciting, and I'm really grateful and appreciative for this opportunity.
That's great. I am sure people in Brazil will be glad to know how you use your experience here, how and why you became a teacher. And again, thank you. So let's start. And first, I would like you to share with us about your career. And I know you've become a teacher not so long time ago. So tell us what do you do, and why did you become a teacher?
I have had a very long journey in marketing and in business management. A little shorter experience as a professor, but everything I've done over the past 15, 20 years has led me down the path of being an educator. So kind of rewinding it back to the beginning, I graduated from college with a degree in public relations, communication arts. That's going a little further back. I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia, which is a slightly small town in Georgia. It's one of the oldest cities in the country. Lots of history, charm, mystique, great food, beautiful city, lots of history. I mean, it's like one of the biggest cities known for its beautiful history and squares and Spanish moss, and this is a beautiful city. But anyway, went to college, graduated, got a degree in communications, really lucked out and got my first job straight out of college working for a beauty company. So my core area of interest and expertise is in beauty, more specifically ethnic hair and beauty is what I really do. Work for a company called Carson Products in Savannah. They were the global leader in developing products for people of African descent, doing shampoos, conditioners, hair relaxers, hair color, their flagship brand. So I started working in brand marketing for them, using my PR background, also my strategic planning and creative marketing skills. Around 2001, we were acquired by the biggest beauty company in the world. I know everybody's heard of L'Oreal USA, Because You're Worth It. That's the $20 billion company. We were acquired by that company, and then I was given the opportunity to relocate to Chicago. And so that's how I ended up from Savannah, Georgia to Chicago, Illinois, doing brand marketing. My specialty was new product development. That's basically where all the innovation comes in from a company. So from concept to taking a product to the market, commercialization, I was responsible for coming up with the ideas, coming up with the plan, managing the agencies, coming up with the messaging, and also thinking about how do we do this in a new, different kind of way. So I was always been in that space of really, how do we create a product idea that's going to be new, different, and better than what's in the marketplace. And honestly, I got to tell you, that is one of the areas that I always love. I love coming up with ideas. I love coming up with new concepts. That's always been like my thing, you know, being that brand innovator. So I continue to do that for several years, working on new products that really transformed the styling and beauty industry. But around 2004, you know, I got really kind of tired of corporate. I felt like all I was doing was pushing paper, wasn't making a difference. I had to do something different. So I decided to take control of my career, and I stepped out on faith, and I created my marketing consulting firm, the Concept Engineers. So I started working with a lot of startup, small companies, mid-sized companies, helping them come up with their strategy, planning, branding, advertising. Back then, it really wasn't social media, but now I do a lot more with social media marketing and things like that. But really helping companies coming up with their why. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do for your target audience? So I work with a lot of different brands, helping to launch new products into the marketplace, helping to also come up with company strategies and planning and branding types of exercises. I continue to do that for a while. But I got to tell you, I am a serial entrepreneur by heart, or just too busy for my own good. I like doing too much. But around 2007, I decided I was going to take everything I learned from L'Oreal and doing it for all these other brands and companies and do it for myself. And I launched my first line of beauty products. I created a brand called Simply Healthy Hair. And basically it was a simple, easy way to salon healthy hair at home. I wanted to be creative. I saw that there was consumers who wanted to have healthy hair, but needed an easy way to do it. So I created the brand name and the brand colors, and used everything I did at L'Oreal, I did it for myself. So I did that, launched the brand, used all my little creative marketing tactics and tools, got it distributed in over 450 Walgreens stores. I won a business plan competition by Miller Coors. This is a big beer company here called Miller's. I won a $20,000 business grant from them for that business idea. I won a $5,000 business grant from Harvard Business School, and was really able to get the brand distributed to different retailers, beauty supply stores, as well as major retailers like Walgreens. Did that, but the biggest issue is I didn't have a way to really reach my consumer. So back then, we didn't have social media. If you're going to do advertising, you had to really spend a lot of money. You know, you're talking about TV, print, radio. You know, that was always very expensive platforms to reach the audience. So though I had a great product, a great concept, though I was innovative, though I brought creativity, brought something new to the marketplace, if you don't have your consumer base in play or a way to reach your audience, you still can't win. So I took some learnings. You know, I took some learnings from that experience to then say, you know what? I'm not defeated. I'm gonna do this again. So I saw another opportunity within the ethnic hair market where a lot of people we call going natural. That's people who normally may chemically straighten their hair or thermally straighten their hair. They wanted just to wear their curly hair, and they wanted it to be healthy and moisturized and conditioned. So I said, you know what, there's another market opportunity. So I created a brand called Entwine. And the one thing I did differently with that brand was I said, you know what, I have to be more innovative and have to leverage. How do I more effectively reach an audience? So luckily, social media was really starting to take off. Facebook was, you know, at the height about in 2010, 2011. It was kind of getting to a plateau. It was a very cost-effective way to reach an audience. So I jumped in head first. I was like, I'm going to do this social media thing, and I'm going to reach out. I was able to build a strong social media following. Key things I did, got an audience using social media advertising to get over 115,000 followers on Facebook, over 30 some odd thousand followers on Instagram, was able to work with influencers, influencer relations. And so I kind of became a pseudo expert at social media marketing, social media advertising, social media relations. And so that kind of really helped me to move my business and my brand forward. But again, I had to think a little differently. I had to use, the one thing, I never had a lot of money when I've done my businesses and my products, but I always knew that I had to be more creative. If you don't have a lot of money, you have to be more creative. You have to use your skills more effectively. So I was able to do that. I've been able to grow this brand. Over the course of time, I've sold quite a few millions of dollars worth of products on the website, connecting with consumers. But one of the things I've always wanted to do is I wanted to share my knowledge. I wanted to share my knowledge because I know I have a lot in me. I have a lot. I know a lot about a lot of things in business, marketing, entrepreneurship, startups, creative marketing. But if I die with all this information, what's the value? So actually only about almost a year ago, I said, you know what, I really want to get into education. And I made a clear focus that I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to become an instructor. I wanted to share my knowledge. And that's where I really started reaching out to different schools, many different schools. And luckily, time and opportunity came together, and I was able to get a position as an adjunct professor at Midwestern Career College. And that's where I had the opportunity to meet you in a couple of classes with internet marketing and different principles of marketing courses. And I'm now in a space where I'm able to take, I'm very practical. I am not just somebody who's just like talking the talk and saying what you should do. I'll live it. Everything I talk about are things that I actually have done, I've experienced, I've shared, I've had success, I've had failures in, but it's all practical, real world things. So one of the things that I kind of focus in on is, how do I bring practicality to education? How do I bring real world experience to education? And also very foundational stuff. Whenever I'm talking about like my marketing and entrepreneurship, marketing classes, I always go back to the foundations, because I honestly, in my undergrad experience in college, I only took one marketing course. It was the principles of marketing. And from that one marketing course, I have built a whole marketing career. And now I'm also able to teach these principles that I've learned. And that's one of the things that I kind of feel. So, it's been an interesting journey, an interesting experience, both as a entrepreneur, business owner, now as a professor. But one of the things is they all kind of work together. And I would say the foundational pieces starts with, how do you think differently by being more innovative and bringing creativity? Innovation, creativity, that's been the foundation of my business career. That's been the foundation of me as an instructor. How do I think about things in a different, new way? So, when we really think about innovation, it's all about, how do you take tools to uncover something new? How do you take tools to discover and uncover something new? And something new doesn't always mean that it's going to be the latest technology, or it's going to be we're using some software. It could just be, how do I take something new and how I understand people? How do I take something new and how do I present it in a different or a fresh way that's going to be relevant for today's consumers? So, I know you probably noticed I'm always talking about the 7 P's, 7 pieces of marketing.
Yeah.
I'm always constantly ramming it down people's head. There are 7, most people know 4 P's of marketing. So, taking your principles of marketing course, you say it's product, price, place, promotion. I erased all that and I made my 7 P's of marketing, which we know number 1 is always people. People have what? Problems. Problems that we then create a product or service to address. The product or service must have a proposition or something that makes it unique, stand out. Then we understand our price, our place, and our promotions, how we create awareness and trial. So, as I start looking at how I present myself as a brand, and also understanding how do I take these basic principles to another target audience, my market. I understand right now, I'm speaking to young millennials and Generation Z. I'm not sure if you've heard, but the new term for the Generation Z are the Zoomers. So, you had the baby boomers. Well, now we have the Zoomers, is that new generation, right?
Yeah.
We have to think about, for me, when I think about my audience, when I think about my students, I'm thinking these consumers, these people are tech savvy, social media savvy. They have short attention spans. They want to keep it moving. They don't want to have a whole bunch of heavy information. So I kind of try to keep things, number 1, entertaining. Because a lot of people, they watching these reality shows and all that kind of entertainment. How do we make teaching more entertaining? So I think like one of the things as I think about engaging with my students, one of the main things that I always think about is, how do I kind of bring some energy and excitement and creativity to my lessons. I know I have basic things I must communicate, certain things that we must teach and learn to be solid in our subject matter. But can it be done in a way that's engaging, that's fun, that's a little creative, and also that gets them engaged in a way so it's not just, talking heads, talk, but, let's talk a little bit, let's share, let's bring relevant information together, and let's try to be a little engaging, a little bit of fun about it. So, it's been a really, it's been fun. I mean, I love being in class. I love being able to just engage with the students and hearing what they think and me sharing some of the things I've learned and I've experienced. Hopefully, like we said, uncovering something new. To me, that's the foundation of innovation. We're going to discover something new. And if we, as instructors and students, can come together to discover something new together, that's the power of innovation.
Wow, what a journey. What amazing journey you have had so far. And I had a lot of insights here while you were talking about your career. And yes, I agree with you. You have applied all this marketing strategy at classroom, and we've learned a lot from that. And I can see that I had experience learning with someone that had experience in the field, and then you apply that innovation, creativity in classroom. We learn practicing, and I can say like that's true. That really happened. So after you became a teacher, and some months later we are facing this pandemic, and we moved from hybrid course to 100% online course, so virtual. What's the biggest challenge for you in this teaching online and this during the pandemic? Can you talk a little bit about that?
You know what? This world has gone topsy-turvy, upside down. Sometimes I don't know how we ended up here, but honestly, I'm very grateful for this opportunity because I feel like it's made me a stronger instructor. It's made me a stronger teacher because it's a little bit easier. I feel like when you're in class and you kind of you can see when you don't have someone's attention. You can kind of go in and try to massage them and bring them back versus when we move virtually. I think the biggest challenge is how do you make sure you're keeping your students engaged?
Yes.
How do you keep them engaged? And how do you know if they're present? How do you know if they're learning? And so then that's what, for me, I've had to kind of adapt that area of my way of teaching to say, okay, I have to make sure that I'm really aware of who is in the group, where they are, and kind of what they're saying, and making sure that I kind of spend a little bit more time kind of searching and also engaging with the students to kind of bring them out. I think that the bigger thing is with online and digital learning or remote learning, it's all about how you, as the instructor, engage. I can be like, hey, I'm just here to go through information, and I can just go through my information and I've done what I was supposed to do. But no, one of the things I feel is hugely important is all about that togetherness and engagement. So I feel like one of the challenges that I think we face is how do I make sure that my students are staying engaged. And some of the things I found as solutions is like really making sure just to make sure that they're present. So one of the things I always do is I always want to make sure that I know you're here. I know I see you, though I may not see you through the video. I see you are in the room. I see you're in the Zoom or the chat. So I kind of make sure that I connect with people and call their names and sometimes target specific questions to specific students, just to make sure, some people are always going to be the talkative ones. Like, hey, I got something to say. That's how it's always like that. But then for those who may not be as engaged, sometimes having to kind of go and just reach out to them. So I feel like it's important to reach out to your students. The other thing is at Midwestern Career College, we have a lot of international students. And what I realized, one of my key things I had to realize and understand is that English is a second language for many of these students. So, I can't take it fully the same way or as quickly like how I speak I may be talking so fast and saying so many different things, and people are translating their head, trying to think about what they're saying and how to, it's just, that's a lot of responsibility. Even what I found is even on like some of the tests and quizzes, if I have a test that has a really, really long paragraph, that is someone having to read that, translate it in their head, then to try to understand what they read. So just thinking about little ways to adjust how you teach and how you connect based on your audience. Again, that goes back to when we talk about the 7 P's of marketing. Our number 1 P is people. If I, at any point in time, am not thinking about my people, I am off strategy. So I'm always thinking about my students and how can I make this experience a good experience for them? When I was in college, I cannot tell you I remember every class I took and every subject matter that I studied. But for me as an instructor, I'm going to make sure you get some core foundational insights, core foundational things that you'll always remember. So you may not remember everything I tell you every single day, but you will take away my 7 P's of marketing. You will take away why marketing strategy is important. How do you do marketing planning? I just want to make sure you take away key pieces when you take my course. And that is going back to number 1, understanding who you're speaking to, understanding your audience, and understanding this people's behavior. People, as a marketer, we study people's attitudes, beliefs, behaviors. So I'm always thinking about how I instruct and how I teach from that perspective of people. And I want to make sure that when we spend time together, you're going to take away some core pieces. So, again, going back to your initial, question, the pandemic has put everybody kind of in a new space. I say it's a new world that we're living in. I don't know if the world will go back to how it used to be, but with every problem, there is an opportunity. So, when we talk about our 7 P's of marketing, we say the people have problems. Okay. So with the pandemic, that's unleashed or opened up new opportunities or new problems to be solved. And how do we do it? I'm gonna say I personally kind of like virtual learning because I feel like I can carry a virtual class because number 1, I have the knowledge base. 2, our consumer, our students are more used to virtual communicating, particularly the millennials, Generation Z, with the FaceTime and all these different video and digital ways of communicating. They're used to that. So for us as instructors, our responsibility is how do we make sure that we keep it relevant? How do we keep it practical? And then also, how do we make sure that our students are learning some key things? And that's, if we bring those 3 pieces together and make sure that we can, practicality, relevance, and learning metrics, I think we can really establish a really strong approach going forward with online learning.
Yeah, I share the same thoughts with you. I believe that every problem has an opportunity. And besides the fact that we are, like Brazil is not 100% ready to go online or hybrid. It's not that common down there. But I believe even though it's happening so fast, people are struggling trying to figure it out what to do with all this. But I am sure at the end of the day it will be a great opportunity to learn, to change, and improve education. I am sure it will be accessible for more people that need education in Brazil. Maybe it will be more affordable. So I agree with you, and I hope that this problem that's going on will become an opportunity, and an opportunity to improve. And that's what we want, and that's what we hope, and that's why we have this ECOE movement. I wish we have more time to talk, and I know you have so much to share, and I need to finish the interview, but I am so thankful for all the tips that you gave us, and I'm sure people will enjoy this talk. People will have insights and will learn something from you. Going to the end of this interview, what is your key points for all this that we have talked?
I definitely appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. You know, my key 3 takeaways when we talk about innovation for business, innovation for education, or even innovation in your own life, key things, you always want to make sure that you're bringing creativity, think differently, you know, uncover new thoughts and new ideas. 2, be practical. Practical means that it has a real world, relatable execution. So we want to make sure we're always being practical, something that someone can use, not just giving information for information's sake, but to be practical. And 3, I would also say it's all about understanding your consumer, understanding who you're talking to. So the more you can understand who you're talking to, it helps you better understand how to address their needs. So those key 3 things will definitely make a difference, either if we're going to stay online and virtual, or even in class. But it's all about being creative and uncovering new ways to be innovative.
Wow, Jonathan, thank you again. Thank you for the time here with us. Thank you for sharing with us that knowledge, all this knowledge in such a short time. And we wait for you next year at next event. Thank you again. Bye bye.